Right, I think that's everybody in. So, look, thank you for joining me today for a relatively brief overview of coral expeditions, where we go and how we provide that true small ship expedition experience, be that in the Kimberley or beyond into domestic and international waters. My name's Will. I'm a member of the Coral Expeditions sales team based in Brisbane, whereas our head office is based up in Cairns and has been for the last 40 years or so. So, Coral Expeditions are an Australian-owned company. We sail under the Australian flag and have an Australian crew, admittedly with a sprinkling of Kiwis amongst them. Indeed, we're the largest employer of Australian maritime crew left in the country, which is a bit of a sad state of affairs, but it means that we can provide a genuine Australian style of hospitality that is relaxed and informal while still offering a really premium onboard experience, which I'll go into more detail shortly. The company was founded in 1983, and our company's original vessel, Coral Princess, was a converted World War II submarine chaser that pioneered and set the standard for small ship expedition cruising in Northern Australia with a 5-night cruise on the Great Barrier Reef. Today, the Coral Expeditions fleet includes 3 purpose-built small ships that can be found anywhere from the tropical waters of Australia's north to the rugged shores of Tasmania, from the coastal villages of Papua New Guinea and the Spice Islands to the sheltered sounds and glacial fjords of New Zealand and well beyond. Whilst our range of cruise itineraries has expanded into new regions, we've always maintained, as mentioned, our home up in Cairns and continue to be the only major operator of extended small ship cruises on the Great Barrier Reef. So when it comes to expedition cruising, there's no replicating experience. And for 40 years, we've steadily accumulated a wealth of local knowledge and contacts in the coastal regions surrounding Australia. Our crew know the charts, the tides, and the winds genuinely like no other to ensure we get you guys, our guests, into the right place at the right time. And so whether you travel with us in the ancient Kimberley, Tasmania's wilderness, the frontier lands of Papua New Guinea, the islands of Indonesia, Japan, the Philippines, or New Zealand's majestic fjordlands, you're going to be assured of a local perspective with local guides, genuinely authentic cultural interactions, and a true taste of local culture and cuisines. If you've got any questions throughout this presentation, then please feel free to pop these into the chat function on your device, and I'll try to address as many of these at the end of the presentation. We're also recording today's presentation, and so we'll be sending a copy to all of you who have registered. And so please feel free to rewatch or share with your friends and colleagues as required. So moving swiftly on, where do we sail? As mentioned, whilst we started off running 4-night Great Barrier Reef itineraries, as you can see from the map on the screen, we've grown to offer a truly unique range of small ship expedition voyages. We're perhaps best known for our 30 years of Kimberley expeditions, and the Kimberley is at the core of what we do and always will be. And I'll discuss this in more detail shortly. But we offer more departures between Broome and Darwin than any other operator. And whilst probably a little bit biased, no one does it better. For the full Kimberley season from April to September every year, we have our full fleet of 3 ships present in the Kimberley. However, when the rains start to fall, our fleet disperses and we offer highly diverse, true expedition itineraries along all and the full coastlines of Australia. These include a full Australian circumnavigation, an annual Tasmanian season currently underway. That includes a full 16-night circumnavigation or 10-night coastal wild or 10-night coastal trekking itineraries, the latter focusing on some of the best day hikes that Tasmania has to offer. We have voyages exploring the remote coastlines of South Australia and across the Great Australian Bight. Over in WA, we offer explorations of the Abrolhos Islands, Ningaloo Reef, Cape Range National Park, and much, much more besides. And on our northern shores, we run expeditions right across the top end with voyages that visit the Tiwi Islands, Arnhem Land, Cape York, and the islands of the Torres Strait. And let's not forget where it all started on the Barrier Reef, where we continue to offer an in-depth exploration of the reef and its surrounding islands, sand cays, and coastlines. Internationally, We offer expedition itineraries to Japan, the Philippines, the islands and atolls of Micronesia, Borneo, Indonesia, including full circumnavigations of the island of Sumatra and Sulawesi. We go to Raja Ampat and the Spice Islands, Borneo, PNG, and then further south to New Zealand and the islands of the Antarctic, sorry, and much more besides. In short, we've got far too much cruise product to cover in one short webinar today, but please feel free to jump onto our genuinely excellent website where we provide detailed information on all our itineraries and include masses of images, videos, maps, and again, much, much more. Likewise, we run weekly webinars on all our expedition cruise destinations. And so feel free to join us on any of these where we really delve into the finer details of each trip and usually have one of our expert expedition team or guest lecturers on hand to provide that kind of local knowledge and expertise that we're known for providing. That being said, I've touched on earlier that the Kimberley is at the core of the Coral Expeditions business. We pioneered expedition cruising here 30 years or so ago. And so I just want to give you a very brief overview of what we do. So up on the screen on the left there is our classic Kimberley itinerary. It's a 10-night departing Darwin or Broome. So the itinerary is exactly the same, just in the reverse order, basically. We're there. We've got more than 45 departures each year on this particular itinerary between April and late September, basically. It's probably what most people, if you've heard of us, you've probably heard of our reputation in the Kimberley. We've got a special offer of up to $1,000 per person off any of our Kimberley departures or classic Kimberley departures for the 24 season. So if you're looking to head into the Kimberley, take it from me, spectacularly beautiful. And like I say, no one does the Kimberley better. Off to the right-hand side of your screen, we've got a couple of other itineraries that have departures. So on the bottom right of your screen, we've got the best, or what we call the best of the Kimberley and the Tiwi Islands. Again, 10 nights, still seeing the major highlights, as you can see on the map there, of the Kimberley. But we spend a couple of nights in the waters of the Tiwi Islands, which is a particular indigenous art centre, basically. So if you've got any interest in buying indigenous art direct from the makers, basically, or the artist, I should say, then maybe consider one of those itineraries. And then the top right hand side of your screen, we call Kimberley Icons Ashmore and Rowley Shoals. This is a 12-night itinerary, and we've added the additional couple of nights just so we can steam out into very close into international waters to Rowley Shoals, Scotty Reef or Scott Reef and Ashmore Reef. These are absolutely stunning reef systems, basically, that only appear at low tide. The water kind of cascades off them, an absolutely stunning sight. If you have that extra kind of couple of nights to play with in the Kimberley, I can highly recommend it. So just in short, it's all about our expertise and experience. And as it says on the screen, with 4 decades of experience and expertise, we take you into the right place at the right time. I've included this slide here, one, because it represents King George Falls, one of the major highlights of any of our Kimberley expeditions, but it also highlights how necessary that kind of local knowledge and expertise is. We've got tidal ranges in excess of 12 meters in the Kimberley. You know, you turn up at Horizontal Falls, again, one of the other major highlights, and I'm sure you've all heard of it, but you turn up there at the wrong time. It's not a raging torrent of water. It's just a flat, calm, boring piece of water at the end of the day. We turn up at Montgomery Reef, which is similar to Rowley and Ashmore Shoals. It's just open ocean. When the tide falls, the water absolutely cascades off. It's tens of square kilometers, a flat top reef. The water can't escape quickly enough, and it just comes down in an absolute raging mass and torrent of water. The marine life is spectacular. But again, you go there at the wrong time of day, it's underwater, you're not going to see anything. So having that kind of local knowledge that we've accrued over 30 years in the Kimberley and beyond is absolutely crucial to how we provide that genuine, true expedition itinerary. I've just got a really brief video for you to enjoy. This is a documentary that was filmed on board our vessel in the Kimberley last year, actually. And it gives you a bit of an insight in what to expect on board a Kimberley expedition. It's actually filmed by Channel 10. It's going live on February the 11th at 3:30 p.m. local time, but you can always watch it on 10 Play whenever you so desire. Enjoy.
Pristine, isolated, untouched. It's wild up here.
Kimberley to me is far more than I expected. It's almost like another world.
I've never seen anything like it, and it's here in Australia.
The scenery, the art, it's just been an amazing experience.
There's nothing like seeing it in person.
You just get this sense of time and space and colour. It's a very special, almost spiritual experience.
That's the kind of thing that I like sharing to the guests, the Indigenous side of things.
There's so much change and there's so much beauty.
It's almost like cruising into a nature documentary.
Getting into the adventure, getting into the sense of excitement. It's absolutely beautiful here.
The Kimberley is just a fantastic place to be.
You'll enjoy every single moment of it.
So that's just a little sneak peek of the full documentary. Channel 10, Feb the 11th, 3:30 p.m. If you guys want to jump on and have a little look, we're really looking forward to that one going live. But look, moving forward, to give you a brief overview of the fleet, we only have 3 purpose-built kind of small ship expedition vessels in the Coral Expedition fleet. Coral Discoverer, that you can see on the screen there. She's our oldest vessel. She's probably one of our most popular, certainly with our kind of long-term guests. It fits a maximum of 72 guests on board. All of our cabins are outward facing, all en suite. Many come with private balconies. And like I say, it's we like to describe her as our kind of most yacht-like vessel. And what I will say is, with the guest numbers capped at a maximum of 72, it allows that genuine small group environment that doesn't overwhelm any of the the communities, the fragile flora, fauna, indigenous rock sites, the places that we go. Coral Discoverer stays pretty much exclusively in domestic waters, obviously in the Kimberley for the full season. We have her down in Tasmania currently now doing our Tasmanian cruise season as well. But if you're looking to cruise the waters of South Australia and across the Bight and the Abrolhos, Coral Discoverer could well be the ship that you're on. Moving on to Coral Adventurer. So Coral Adventurer and our third and final ship, Coral Geographer, are sister ships basically. One was launched in late 2019. Coral Geographer on the screen, our newest ship, launched in late 2021. Again, purpose built to sail in the predominantly tropical waters that we sail. So again, these guys, Coral Geographer and Coral Adventurer, have a maximum capacity of 120 on board, again across 60 staterooms. Again, all outward facing, all en suite, and again, many with private balconies, depending on the cabin category that you'd like to choose. As you can see from the images, loads of outdoor deck space and bar space and dining space, so you can kind of enjoy the stunning vistas drift by. I'm not going to go into too much more detail on the ships. Again, please jump onto our genuinely excellent website where we give you full deck plans and layouts, loads more images, there's some video clips, that type of thing. Or please reach out to your travel partner or reach out to our reservation and service team, and they'll more than happily kind of guide you through anything that you want to know. And so just moving on to what type of kind of clientele, what type of guest did we appeal to, both domestically and in international waters? In short, we don't have any age restrictions on our vessels and do occasionally welcome children on board. but these are almost exclusively part of that kind of wider family group where the grandparents might be treating the wider family to that, you know, genuine bucket list expedition experience. Overwhelmingly, as you can see from the screen, the vast majority of our guests have cruised before. Many have done expedition voyages with either us or another operator, be it down in the Antarctic or the Galapagos areas that we don't currently visit. But overwhelmingly, the vast majority of them have cruised before. Many have come from that kind of classic big ship experience and want that kind of smaller, more intimate experience. Many are looking, particularly in places like Northern Australia, Papua New Guinea and the islands of Indonesia, they're after that kind of indigenous art and culture kind of theme. Many, if not exclusively, come to witness the you know, really unique flora and fauna, both under the water and on land of the various regions we go to. And most want that kind of immersive learning experience, which I'll come on to a little bit more detail shortly. Our medium age is 64, as you can see. Our sweet spot is probably 55 plus. Most of our guests are pretty well traveled and looking for that, like I say, more educational experience. And the overwhelming majority are Australians and New Zealanders, with a, you know, a sprinkling of international clientele, particularly now that kind of COVID has receded, fingers crossed, into the distant past. I've just got another really brief video to show you here, and then we'll continue the discussions. Enjoy. So moving on, and just to kind of summarize the really short video you just saw, the whole ethos of Coral Expeditions for 40 years now has been to discover really unique and remote destinations and cultures. We don't visit the major tourist hotspots like, you know, Bali and places like that. It's all about focusing on the really remote wilderness, hard if not impossible to get to by road, both domestically and internationally. And it's all about maximizing your time ashore. I've mentioned that the company ethos, or part of the ethos, is that we don't focus on the ship. The ship is not the destination, and that's a very different prospect from, you know, the classic big ship experience. We provide that, you know, beautiful onboard, premium onboard experience, but it's all about maximizing your time in the varied destinations you visited. And let's be honest, you paid a considerable amount of money to experience said destinations. And so, you know, on a normal day, we offer a minimum of 2 shore excursions daily, utilizing our Explorer tenders, which you can see on the screen there. And I'm going to come into far more detail on those shortly. And it's all about sharing in the expert knowledge of our expedition crew and guest lecturers, and kind of connecting and learning on the way, and providing you with the information you need to really appreciate the kind of diverse areas in which we cruise. And again, as mentioned, it's all about engaging where applicable with the local communities and cultures, particularly around the top end of Australia into PNG, the islands of Indonesia and the Philippines, and up into the waters and the remote islands of Japan that we focus on there. And we do this in true expedition style, so small groups and, crucially, no waiting. So we can on and off board our entire ship's complement. So this is Coral, I can't remember, I think Coral Adventurer, Coral Geographer and Coral Adventurer look practically identical. They're sister ships to each other, and we can on and off board the entire ship's complement in under 15 minutes. And we do this using our Explorer tenders you can see on the screen. The hydraulic system you can see on the back there means that you guys can board the ship and board the Explorer tenders, sorry. So there's no steps or ladders to contend with. It's just a level walk on, and then we gently lower you into the water. Our 2 bigger ships, so Coral Adventurer and Coral Geographer on the screen here, have 2 Explorer tenders. They can fit up to 70 people each, whereas Coral Discoverer, our smaller vessel, just has the 1 Explorer tender on board. And we do all of this with a warm and relaxed Australian hospitality. So I've mentioned before, It's very informal. There's no dressing for dinner. There's no assigned seating, that type of thing. But very, very premium, like I say, experience nonetheless. But it's designed to provide you with that very, very kind of comfy platform, and whilst really focusing on the really remote wilderness areas in which we cruise. So moving on to the guest experience. For those new to coral expeditions, which might be many of you, it's worth stating right away that if you're looking for that kind of classic big ship experience with multiple bars and restaurants, nightclubs, casinos, white jacketed waiters, then the coral expedition product is probably not what you're looking for. As mentioned, instead, we offer an informal, relaxed on-board experience, no dressing for dinner, no assigned seating, and no formal onboard entertainment outside our schedule of lectures and presentations from our guest lecturer and expedition leader team, and obviously specific to the waters in which you cruise. The whole ethos, as mentioned, of the company is to focus on the stunning destinations we visit rather than the ship itself. And again, a very different prospect from some of the big ship cruise lines out there. We offer a minimum of 2 shore excursions daily and utilize the trademark and unique Explorer tenders, which I'm going to come on to shortly, to ensure your time is maximized ashore with no waiting or queuing. Our shore excursions are also tailored to all, no matter the levels of fitness. And so we offer our guests, anything from a strenuous walk or hike to a site of interest or viewpoint, through to a gentler beach comb or exploration of the area. In suitable locations, we also offer the choice of staying aboard our Explorer tenders to cruise through the bays, creeks, rivers and coastlines for those not inclined to head ashore. The point being that we offer a range of excursion opportunities to fit all fitness requirements and hopefully specific areas of interest. And again, all shore excursions are accompanied by our expert expedition team. We do not outsource to third parties, meaning we can guarantee the quality of both the ashore and onboard expedition experience. So any coral expedition cruise offers, as I said, a relaxed and informal onboard environment, and we encourage an open interaction between guests and crew. For any of you who have done your research on coral, you would probably have read some of the reviews. Overwhelmingly, positive, and one of the major things to come out of them is just the absolutely amazing feedback that we get from our Australian onboard crew, basically. The open bridge policy allows really regular interactions with the captain, and there's plenty of in and outdoor areas to relax and enjoy the stunning scenery drift by. Usually I must say with a cheeky glass of wine or gin and tonic in hand. The onboard guest experience is at its core built around 2 main areas: the delicious culinary and wine experience, and the schedule of guest lectures and presentation from our onboard experts. The aim being that you can fully immerse yourselves in the flora, fauna, history, geology, and cultures of the places that we visit. Look, your cruise will be led by a dedicated expedition leader. He or she will work closely with the captain to determine our daily program, ensures that the best use is made of any prevailing weather and tidal conditions, as I've mentioned, absolutely crucial in places like the Kimberley. And your expedition leader will join you on all shore excursions and activities. They'll provide daily recaps and briefings, and is always on hand to answer any questions that you might have. They use our ship's shallow draft, quick disembarkation capabilities, which I've mentioned, our special tender equipment such as the Explorer vessels and Zodiacs, to take you up close and really personal to the remote places that we visit. So Coral Expeditions was also one of the first cruise operators to employ interpretive guides on our cruises, and it's a tradition that continues today. Each trip includes a mix of our full-time guest lecturers who join the expedition team, and special guest lecturers who are chosen for their specific local knowledge and expertise. As mentioned, we offer a full schedule of lectures and presentations from our expedition team or guest lecturers, and tailored to the area in which you travel. These tend to focus on the history, culture, flora, fauna, geology and landscapes of the area, and are designed to provide you with that knowledge to truly appreciate the areas in which you cruise. And now we move on to probably one of the most important facets of a coral expedition cruise, which is our explorer tenders. I've mentioned them multiple times so far in my commentary. They are at the core of what we do. They've been purpose designed and built by Coral to provide the perfect conduit between our kind of motherships and the remote regions we visit, be that in the Kimberley, but on all our domestic and international itineraries. And it's something that no other cruise line, domestic or international, can offer. I've mentioned, but our explorers are really easy to board directly from the deck. No steps or ladders to contend with before being gently lowered into the water. They provide comfortable seating, a full audio system to assist our guides in sharing their expert commentary. A canopy protects you from the sun, absolutely crucial when we sail in tropical waters. And there's a toilet on board for remote convenience. And this might not sound like a big deal, but it avoids having to constantly head back to the mothership for those toilet breaks, and potentially avoids the need to find a suitable bush or have a quick dip in the ocean, particularly not recommended in places like the Kimberley, with the ever-present threat of the big saltwater crocodiles. The explorers are crucial in allowing us to deliver a true expedition product. They allow easy access to not only beach and harbour landings, but provide the perfect option for exploring the bays, rivers and coastlines, as well as doubling up as an absolutely excellent scuba and snorkel platform where applicable. As mentioned, we can, using the explorers, we can on off board our entire ship's complement in under 15 minutes, which again means more time spent actually enjoying the areas that you paid a considerable amount of money to experience. So on the screen here, off to the left, obviously, is just a little slide taken, I think, on the Great Barrier Reef. If any of you are keen snorkelers or even scuba divers, and I've already had a question come through on scuba diving, which I'll address shortly, then you should be considering Coral Expeditions. Maybe not in the Kimberley, that isn't particularly water-based for the reasons that I mentioned just by now. But obviously, we've got a 7-night itinerary on the Great Barrier Reef. We've got regular every single year cruises up through the waters of Sumatra, Sulawesi, Raja Ampat, and the world famous Coral Triangle, probably the most pristine coral reefs left on the planet. Take it from me, I'm a keen scuba diver myself. I've been lucky enough to snorkel and dive in places like the Red Sea, the Maldives, or up on our own, barrier reef. Nothing beats the waters of Raja Ampat and the Coral Triangle. I'll come on to the kind of scuba diving options a little bit later. But if that's if your kind of dream itinerary includes plenty of time spent on paradise beaches and getting both in and under the water, then jump online and absolutely our barrier reef, Sulawesi, Sumatra, Raja Ampat, Philippine itineraries could well be the ones for you. They're also in the top right hand side of the screen there, absolutely perfect to kind of service the predominantly remote wilderness areas we go to, where we don't have port facilities that we can just pull alongside. So we do both wet and dry landings. So the bottom right hand side, I think taken down in Tassie, is what we would call a dry landing, where you're not going to get your feet wet. It's like a landing craft where you can see we've just got that big drop down ramp on the front. Sometimes we'll try, depending on which beach and what the tides are doing, we'll just drop you straight onto the sand. And then the top right one is what we call a wet landing. We're never going to have you, wading, anything higher than your knees or anything like that. So it's just, bring appropriate footwear, basically, from Crocs to thongs, that type of thing, or just take your shoes and wade in, usually just up to your ankles. But that's called a wet landing. And I'm just going to go back a slide just to show you the kind of boarding process of our Explorer tenders. So the bottom left-hand side of the screen is how we get on to our Explorer tenders. So no steps, no ladders. You just walk on from one of the main decks off the back of the ship. And then the bottom middle photo there just perfectly shows the hydraulic system and just gently lowers you into the water. And then away you go. In short, they are the perfect tool for us to guarantee that kind of proper expedition experience in the remote regions that we go to. No one else offers anything similar. And it's a real point of difference from Coral Expedition to any of our competitions, be that big ship or small. And absolutely, if you're looking to head on any of our itineraries with Coral, you know, this is going to be a real point of difference and a key selling feature for Coral Expeditions. That being said, it would be wrong not to say that we also use our more traditional Zodiac inflatables. And on all itineraries and all our ships, we complement the Explorer tenders with the Zodiac inflatables. And it just gives you guys, as our guests, the choices, you know, how adventurous or not you want to be on a day-by-day basis, basically. The last thing I'll say on Zodiacs is, take it from me, I've been lucky enough or unlucky enough, as the case may be, to spend many hours bouncing around on a Zodiac. Incredibly fun for the first kind of 10-15 minutes or so, but particularly in tropical waters, you get absolutely baked by the sun. There's no back support or anything like that. It's not particularly comfy seating. So that is why the Explorer tenders are such a key selling point for Coral Expeditions. So we're coming to the end of our presentation. Okay, we've already had quite a lot of questions coming through on my tablet, which I'll address shortly. I've just got one more really short video, filmed actually in the islands of the East Indies and the Coral Triangle, just to give you an idea, particularly how we use our Zodiacs, you can see on the screen, but our Explorer tenders, and just give you a bit of an idea of what the kind of Coral Expeditions experience is all about. So enjoy. All right, thank you very much, guys, for joining us today. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, you know, I deliberately haven't delved too deeply into any of our specific destinations. Our product range is absolutely massive, and we will be here for absolutely hours on end. As mentioned, we do run weekly webinars on all our destinations. You can find the details online. Register as required. Even if you can't make it on the day, we'll automatically send you a recorded webinar recording of the webinar, so you can kind of peruse to your heart's content. Again, please jump onto our excellent website. We give you full detailed day-by-day itineraries, maps, images, videos, you name it, we've got it there on the website. So today was more just a bit of an overview, particularly for I'm assuming most people here today who either haven't experienced Coral Expeditions previously or haven't, you know, wanted a clearer understanding of kind of what that kind of true small ship expedition experience is, you know, certainly compared to that kind of classic big ship experience. Look, there's obviously plenty of questions that have come through already throughout this presentation, and I'm just going to wade into some of these, and I'll try not to keep you guys too much longer. But number one, and a couple of you have asked this, is it genuinely an all-inclusive product? So in short, yes, it is, with a few exceptions, which I'll just cover briefly. So obviously, all your excursions whilst you're on board with Coral Expeditions are covered with that. Obviously, all your food whilst on board, any alcoholic drinks during lunch and dinner service come included in the fare you paid. Any alcoholic drinks outside of the lunch and dinner service. So if you like that pre-dinner gin and tonic or glass of wine, that would come at an additional cost. We do offer a laundry service on board as well, which comes at a relatively small additional cost. In the Kimberley, it's the only activity that doesn't come included is what we call the Mitchell Falls helicopter flight. We don't have helicopters on board any of our ships, which is an absolute joy. Can you imagine, the noise? It would kind of ruin some of these, really remote wilderness areas. But Mitchell Falls, and I've done it myself actually, is genuinely worth the money, and I believe it's around 550 Australian dollars. It's not offered by Coral Expedition, it's a separate company, but it takes you in a doors off helicopter experience. So get those camera straps on, but doors off the helicopter, flies you high up onto the plateau. You see the staggered Mitchell Falls, drops you at the top. You've got about 45 minutes to wander around, explore, have a quick dip in the croc-free, guaranteed croc-free creeks at the top. A really beautiful experience. But in short, it's a fully all-inclusive experience when you join a Coral Expeditions trip. Wi-Fi. So I always get asked this. If you'd asked me anything up to a kind of a year or so ago, I would say our Wi-Fi, particularly in some of the really remote regions like the Kimberley, was not particularly great, to be honest with you. Over the last 12 months, we've spent a small fortune to install Starlink technology across the fleet. Not that Elon Musk needs the additional money, to be honest with you. And from what I've been told by our onboard team, the Wi-Fi speeds are now better than our Ken's head office, basically. We provide you with our standard Wi-Fi package already included in the fare, and it's going to be more than good enough if you want to, keep in touch with friends and family, post those beautiful images and videos to social media, that type of thing. It's going to handle that absolutely easily. If you're one of those really unlucky people that have an important business call or, God forbid, wants to stream the latest Netflix movies, although I assure you, you're not going to have the time to do that. You might want to upgrade to our premium service, and that does come at an additional cost. But for the vast majority of our guests who just want to enjoy their holiday and keep in contact with friends and family, like I say, the included Wi-Fi is going to be more than good enough. At least 3 of you have wanted a bit of clarity on our snorkel and scuba diving. So, as I've mentioned, be it Raja Ampat, Sumatra, Sulawesi, the islands and atolls of Micronesia, Papua New Guinea, obviously the classic Great Barrier Reef. We've got loads and loads of itineraries that are really focused on getting in and above and under the water, basically. On any applicable itinerary like that, we provide you with snorkel gear, which is yours to utilize for the duration of the trip. We do ask that you return it to us at the end. We'll also provide you with some beach towels as well, so that's one less item that you don't have to pack. If any of you are interested in scuba diving, we have full scuba dive facilities on all 3 of our vessels. If you're a scuba diver and cruising any of the aforementioned kind of water-based destinations that we visit, then please let us know at the time of booking or as soon as possible. That does come at an additional cost, and we do have limited availability in terms of dive masters and tanks and all the gear on board. If you're a keen scuba diver looking to jump on one of those trips, let us know. We can get you locked in, and I guarantee, particularly in places like Raja Ampat, you're going to have the best scuba dive experience that money can buy. So moving quickly on, how physically able do I need to be? So I touched on it, I think, relatively briefly at the beginning of the presentation. We cater to all demographics. Our sweet spot in age, as mentioned, is 55 plus. We don't have any kind of requirements in terms of onboard requirements. other than the fact that, you know, in the worst case scenario, and this is, I think, general for all ships, you need to be able to evacuate the ship under your own steam. So it's not suitable, unfortunately, for people that are wheelchair bound. On our two newer ships, Coral Geographer and Coral Adventurer, we do have lifts on board, so you can avoid those kind of flights of stairs the vast majority of the time. It's just more in a worst case scenario when the lifts are unavailable or we're not allowed to use them in an emergency. You have to be able to get down those steps and reach your muster points. On our excursions, we cater to all. So if you've got a particularly dodgy knee, or you're just not particularly feeling up to heading ashore, we're going to offer you options on our Zodiacs or our Explorer tenders to, you know, cruise the coastlines and bays. So you're not going to miss out. For those people that, you know, might want to push themselves that little bit harder, we'll have a group that's going to head off to you know, a strenuous day hike, or up to a point of you know, a site of interest or viewpoint, that type of thing. We might then also offer, you know, a more gentle beachcomb and just general exploration of the area. The point being that we'll always be able to cater to all kind of physical requirements. So you're never going to miss an excursion opportunity because you don't think that you're physically capable to undertake a particular walk. We will always have multiple options for you to enjoy. So do we book flights and pre and post accommodation? The short answer is no. We do occasionally have packages. So we've got one online at the moment where we packaged up one of our classic Kimberley expeditions with a luxury Barramu Plains lodge in far north WA. And absolutely, if you book that, happy days, that's all arranged for you. We don't arrange, other than that, we don't do pre and post accommodation. We don't arrange your domestic or international flights. So please reach out to your travel partner, and they're going to be more than happy to put something together with you. For some of our more obscure international destinations, for example, our trips to Sulawesi, and we've got, you know, various different ones, from a full circumnavigation to shorter Darwin to Makassar and vice versa. For a lot of people, it might be the first time they've heard of Makassar. It's not, I can assure you, it's not Singapore or Changi Airport in Singapore. And so for our more obscure destination, like Makassar, we offer the option of a pre-planned charter flight and arranged by Coral Expeditions. That obviously comes at an additional cost. It's on a first come, first served basis. Most of our guests tend to sign up for those charter flights. It's entirely optional, but it just streamlines that kind of travel process for you guys. Outside of the charter flights and the occasional packages that we put together, all flights and pre and post accommodation can be handled by your chosen travel advisor. Do we have any special offers? So look, absolutely, every now and then throughout the year, we have special offers on both our domestic and international departures. The easiest direction probably would be to jump on our website again, guys. We've got a special offers page. Have a click whenever you get a spare moment, and we list everything there, both domestic and international, all the T's and C's and the travel credits and discounts that we're offering. Jump online, have a little look, and we'll more than happily take your call and get you booked on board. Who are you owned by? I've been asked that by a couple of people. So in short, 12 months or so ago, we were owned by a collection of Australian investors. And then during the 2-3 years or so ago, during the depths of COVID, we were bought, or a minority 49% stake was bought by the NRMA, which I'm sure you guys have all heard of. And then about 6 months or so ago, they exercised their option to buy the remaining 51%. So we're now 100% owned by the NRMA, a very well-known and well-resourced, fully Australian company. So they are very much our owner now. Just coming to the last couple of questions, will we be returning to the Indian Ocean? The short answer is yes, we are. We had our inaugural journey across the Indian Ocean, from Sri Lanka down through island hopping through the Maldives, you know, Madagascar, Mauritius, the island of Zanzibar, you know, a spectacular itinerary. The reviews were absolutely superb. We're going to be releasing another Indian Ocean cruise series. It just won't be this year or the next. If that's really exactly what you want, contact our res or service teams. We've got a rapidly growing inquiry list for that. So when we do release it, you're going to be the first people that we reach out to. But sadly, whilst I'd love to, we can't take your money for it quite yet, as it's just in the planning stages as we speak. And then the last question that's come through so far, do you take single travellers? Short answer is yes. We have a limited number of cabins, across all of our 3 ships that suit single occupancy. Single occupancy, on many companies, and it's sad to say, but you get stung for single occupancy charges. Basically, with Coral Expeditions, it's 150%, so you're paying a 50% premium to have that cabin. We do try our hardest to work around that. So again, if you jump onto our special offers page, we've got removed single supplements on a variety of our trips, including the Kimberley and the Atolls Islands. So jump on and have a look. We also have a dedicated Facebook page dedicated to our single travellers, and we encourage you to jump on there and reach out to people. And hopefully you can find someone that potentially you kind of hit it off with, and you're more than welcome then to share a cabin yourself, and then you avoid any single supplements. That, I think, is it that has come through, certainly either prior to the presentation or during it. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me today. I've gone a little bit over my kind of scheduled 45-minute window, designed just to give you a brief overview of kind of who we are and where we go to. It's a fantastic company, Coral Expeditions. We offer that really, genuine small ship, true expeditions. Jump online, read some of the reviews that we've got, independent reviews, not just off our website, and you'll see the overwhelming number of people that have had a fantastic time on board Coral Expeditions. If you're looking for small ship expedition cruising, please reach out to us. We've got a genuinely excellent reservation and service team. Jump on our website, all our contact information is there. And likewise, we've been working with our trade travel agent partners for close to 40 years now. Please reach out to them, and they can contact us on your behalf. And we look forward to seeing you on board with us soon. Thank you very much for your time today, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.